Show of hands, can everybody hear? Yeah? Okay. So you're going to want to mute on your computers unless you have a question, and then by all means, ask anything. All interruptions are fine. This is going to be an interactive shear. Hopefully this time it will tape so that whoever can't hear it this time will be able to listen to it at their leisure. So let's go through everything. We're going to try to make this as quick as possible, also as easy as possible, because I know some of you have never made a Pesach in your lives, and this is the first time. So we're going to try to make it as understandable and as easy as possible. Let's begin with what you don't have to kosher at all, and you just have to clean. Those are your cabinets and your drawers. No need to do anything but clean them out from chametz, and only the cabinets and the drawers that you're going to be using for Pesach. So if you have drawers that you're not going to be using, just mark them off with some kind of indication so that you'll know not to open them, and that's fine. The ones that you're going to use, because you're going to now switch over from your chametz flatware to your Pesach flatware, for example, or you're going to use a pantry for Pesach food, just clean it, make sure that it's totally clean from chametz, and you have a kosher Pesach drawer, you have a kosher Pesach cabinet. Nothing more needed. High chairs. If you need to have a high chair, I strongly suggest you take the child out of the high chair before you do this, but you clean the high chair. It was just a joke, sorry. You clean the high chair and the table, the tray at the top, just cover with contact paper. You really don't put anything really hot on a table of a high chair, but they suggest, Muskin suggests, cover it with contact paper and that will be fine. But because you'll really never put something really, really hot down on a child's table of a high chair. But that's what you do. Clean it, and that's all you have to do. Now, let's talk about items that can be koshered and items that can't be koshered. You can kosher a lot of your kitchenware, a lot of them, but they have to be made from certain materials. So metal can be koshered. That is not a problem. Metal can be koshered. China, pottery, earthenware, cement, concrete, enamel pots may not be koshered for Pesach. So if you have an enamel pot, that can't be koshered for Pesach. Glass, our custom in Ashkenaz is not to kosher glass for Pesach. So those are the items that you can't kosher for Pesach. We also don't kosher for Pesach anything that has small little holes, real small holes, or a very narrow top where you're pouring through. If it's really narrow and it can't be cleaned well, it won't be able to be koshered as well. A toaster oven can't be koshered, for example. That you can't kosher. But flatware you certainly can kosher. So plain silver, stainless steel, flatware can be koshered. And I'm going to explain to you how to do the koshering process, because this year we're not offering, nobody is offering a koshering service in a shul because of the problems with the coronavirus and social distancing, etc. So nobody's offering it, but you can kosher in your homes very easily, but you got to follow the following process. So if you want to kosher, for example, your bechers or your flatware, your sterling silver, you want to use it at your table on your Seder, totally appropriate, easy to kosher. Take a pot, any pot, and don't use it for 24 hours. I don't care if it's milchux, I don't care if it's fleishix. You can use either type of pot. Just don't use it for 24 hours. Fill it up with water as high as you can get it. Bubble the water, boiling water, and let the water bubble. As while it is bubbling, you take your flatware, you take your kiddush cups, whatever you're koshering that's permitted to be kosher. We're going to talk 2 seconds about what can't be kosher, but that's permitted to kosher. You'll put into the boiling pot, into the boiling water, immerse it, make sure that while it's in, it just takes a second or two, the water continues to bubble. Sometimes when you immerse with a cold item, a cold metal, for a second or two, the water will stop bubbling. Make sure while it is immersed, the water is bubbling. If the water is bubbling, you've koshered. Take the item out and put it under cold water. After you've finished koshering, you put it under cold water. One of the reasons that we do this is because we're afraid if it's still warm and it should touch something that's chametzik, it becomes chametzik all over again. So the minig is you kosher and then you put it under cold water. So you take a pot, not used for 24 hours. The flatware, not used for 24 hours. The kiddush cup, not used for 24 hours. Everything's not used for 24 hours before you do the process. Bubble up the water, immerse the item into the hot water, into the bubbling water, and make sure it's in there while it bubbles. Take it out and put it under cold water. You have kosher items. You unmute yourself, Jerry. Unmute yourself. I'm not good at reading lips. Let me see. Let me see if I can unmute you. No, I can't. You got to unmute yourself. There is a mute button at the top right of your screen. At the top right of your screen, if you put your pointer to that, your cursor there, you will find that there should be a button that says mute or unmute. It should be. You can't see it?
Is that better? Hello? You see it?
No, there is, right?
You hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Two things. Number one, it should be a chametz pot that you
If you send me, if you can't unmute, did you unmute? I can't hear you.
I unmuted. You can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
I did it.
So send me a chat, write something you see at the bottom. It says chat, write the questions and I will answer.
Yeah. Okay. You still can't hear
Just
me?
type your question in chat.
I hear you, Jerry.
Go all the way back to the bottom of your screen.
Can you hear me, Rabbi?
Chat button. You can write.
I know. I teach like
questions.
This. You can't
Okay,
hear me?
Jerry, I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you too, Jerry. Rabbi, can you hear
So
me?
what items
No,
can
he can't hear any of us.
Again, we talked about them. China, pottery, earthenware, cement, any of those items.
He has all of us turned off.
Materials cannot be kosher. Can you?
I can't figure out how to do this.
Try on you all.
You can hear. You cannot hear us? I can't. I do not hear you.
Rabbi, you mute.
Tell you to.
Where's Gerald?
Here.
I don't know. I don't know how to participate. 1 second. Can I unmute you? No.
Can we hear you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Rabbi, can you hear me?
I know.
Can you hear them, Rabbi?
I'm muted now. Can I try it now?
Did you hear me, Rabbi?
The rabbi has to put
No,
on his
I don't know
audio.
how to do this.
Rabbi, I'm unmuted. Yeah.
Somebody can tell me how to do this.
you all
I'll
hear
be
me?
more
Can
than
you all hear
happy.
me? Judy, can you hear me?
We can hear you,
Yeah, so
Jerry.
Debbie?
What?
hear each
Yes.
other.
Irene?
What am I supposed to do?
Us. I'm wondering if the volume on his computer is
Elaine?
turned down and he needs to turn the speakers.
I'm not muted.
Then you got to tell. Okay.
Speaker.
Hi. Hello. Hello.
Hi, Rabbi. I'm just wondering if your volume on your speakers on your computer is off. So you're not.
You can't hear me?
Nobody can. We hear you, you're not hearing us.
Right? So where am I supposed to go?
Where's the speaker's volume for your speakers?
I don't know. It says participants. It says.
So it would be your computer, not the Zoom thing. Like if you were listening to music on your computer or something, or video, and you didn't hear it, do you know how to?
I do not know.
Okay.
I've unmuted everybody, I thought.
I don't know, because.
Please answer the questions.
Jerry, do you hear me?
I hear
Yeah,
you.
Ari,
Now,
Ari,
okay.
tell him the volume in the app.
Ari, do you hear me?
If somebody can tell me how to do this, I will do it.
Tell him to go at, not, he keeps looking in the app only. Tell him
Right.
to look on the computer, the volume of the computer.
Okay, Rabbi, do you know how to like minimize, like to make this whole Zoom thing just collapse? Not to exit it with the X, but you know the little vertical line there in the upper right-hand corner of your.
Ari, could you ask the rabbi to
It
please
says
answer?
speaker view.
No. Do you see?
Oh, Ari, yeah, Jerry, that's a good idea. Just
What?
ask him Jerry's question.
To answer my two questions, can you use a chametz pot? And what do you remove it with? If you use, well, you have to
Unmute
caution
audio.
that first.
Okay, so if they're asking me to ask you, can you use the
Okay.
chametz pot, which the answer was yes, because
Yes.
that's what you started with.
Yes.
Okay. And then how do you put it in and out? Can you use tongs? But then it's touching the item that you're.
Kasher the tongs first then.
How do you take those out?
Without burning.
Hold on. I can't hold on 2 seconds.
No,
People
it's
want,
not-
I
it's
can't
not
hear
mute.
people
You're
talk
not-
to me.
Yeah, Jerry, I was wondering
Trying to
that
find
same
out
thing.
how to
I
resolve
mean,
this.
you're thinking
What it
Burning
is,
your
Rabbi,
fingers.
It's not
How do
mute.
you
It's
get the
not
thing in
mute.
and out?
It's the setting of your computer, your speakers are too low. It's on 0, so you don't hear the sound.
Well, where are the speakers?
Well, that's what I
Ari.
was trying to say. If you go to the upper right-hand corner of your screen, do you see a little X?
Well, that's the question.
Upper right-hand corner, is there an X?
There is, it says speaker view and it says
No.
full screen.
You don't see in the top.
Exit full, tell him to
No.
exit full screen.
Okay, do exit full
You've
screen.
got to tell people
Okay.
to unmute themselves.
Okay, now in the lower,
Right.
So Dr. Mark.
so now in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, lower
Yes.
right-hand corner, do you see something, do you see like little symbols? Is there like the date and the time?
That's how we can adjust.
No.
our speakers.
You don't see anything at the bottom of your screen.
1 second. Okay. My audio is,
Yeah, your audio,
oh, now
on
here.
your computer.
Okay, got
Is
it.
it good?
Got it.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I do.
Do you hear
Uh,
me?
Oh, very
Rabbi, you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Ari, good collaboration.
Yeah,
Hey, would
you
everybody
come
else go on
cash your
mute
my
while the rabbi
stuff, Clarice.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, yes, Jerry, let's go. What was the question?
Okay, now I'm muting.
Okay.
Jerry,
Rabbi, so first of all, you can use a chametz pot, but what do you remove the cup if you're doing a kiddush cup? What do you remove it with? If you use tongs, you have to have koshered them. How do you kosher them?
you can use an immersion type of, I would use,
Colander?
Yeah,
I'm
a
sorry,
metal calendar.
yes.
Okay, but you have to
colander,
kosher that
yes.
first. You can just put that in first.
Or if, yes, 100%, use gloves, use, cooking gloves and immerse them like that. The rubber gloves,
Yeah, we have gloves.
rubber gloves.
Heavy duty rubber gloves.
I'm sorry?
Heavy duty rubber gloves.
Okay,
Yes,
the colander was used for pasta. So I mean, hopefully there's not a little bit.
you're gonna have to
stuck.
kosher the colander.
I know.
Okay.
that thing.
Jerry, buy one new colander.
And
Oh,
take
that-
it to
You
which
can't
peg?
take,
Ari, take it to
okay,
which
never
peg?
mind. You,
Yeah.
right.
Okay,
The peg
use
is-
it, immerse it, and then you'll have a kosher. Now, what can you kosher it through this process? You can kosher only through this this is called hagala. You can kosher only items that have come in contact with the liquid, with water. So with boiling. So a soup pot can be kosher. like I said, Kiddush cups can be kosher. Flatware can be kosher. What can't be koshered this way? Frying pans cannot be koshered this way. A frying pan became chomitzdik through fire. It needs libun. It needs fire to take it out. There is a principle in halacha called kibolo kach polto. The way it goes in is the way it comes out. If it went in with
Rabbi,
it will go out with the liquid. But only 2 seconds, only that process that did not have a direct fire can be done this way. So you can use a soup pot. You can kosher a soup pot. It does not have to be like a mikveh that it goes in all at one time. You can do part of the pot, remove it, and turn it over and do the next part of the pot. If you're doing, for example, a Kiddush cup, you can do part of the Kiddush cup, remove it, turn it over, and put the other part in. It does not have to go in all at one time. Very important part of koshering. Eventually, all parts have to go into the boiling water, but they don't have to go in all at the same time. And again, frying pans cannot be koshered this way. Only pots that use liquids, for example, soup pots, or like I say, Kiddush cups or flatware, etc. Yes, Judy.
I was going to say that I've also heard that, and I don't know if it's permitted to use a string. In other words, if
Yes.
you,
Not a problem. If you want to use
so
a
you could put it like if it's a pot with handles, you would
Yes.
string it up
Yes.
or whatever. to
Definitely,
pull it out.
definitely can. You definitely can. Definitely let's make it a little loose so it's under the string, that area gets koshered as well. Okay? So that's
Rabbi, just very
Yes.
quickly, can you use regular pot holders, Pesach pot holders to remove the colander from the
yes.
boiling?
Yes. 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 Enamel pots cannot be koshered. So for example, lacrosse and fiesta ware cannot be koshered. Glass pots cannot be koshered. The instant pot, many of you now use an instant pot, cannot be koshered because they have too many nooks and crannies in them and they cannot be cleaned well and they cannot be koshered. Drinking glasses, our custom in Ashkenaz, glass is not kosherable. So unless there's an enormous need for glass, call me or call another Rav and discuss it with him. Please mute yourselves until
I
you're
am.
asking me a question. Okay? So the glass cannot be kosher. Tablecloths. I'm going through the kitchen. Tablecloths. Fabric tablecloths, easily kosherable. Throw them into your dish, into your washing machine and turn it on, hot cycle, and you've koshered your tablecloth. You've
Rabbi, I'm sorry,
Yes.
can I ask one thing about the pots? A pot that you make rice in, for instance, like it's water you put in and then you put the rice to boil, so that could be koshered by Hagala?
Yes.
Okay, just the frying pan can't be koshered by Hagala.
Frying pans only have a little oil. You spray them with Pam or something. That's why basically they're cooking with heat.
Heat, got you, okay.
Now, by the way, you can kosher a frying pan. You can kosher a frying pan if you use a torch. I am not recommending that to anyone.
Right.
Or if you put it inside a full cycle of a self-clean oven cycle. If you
okay.
put it into a self-clean oven cycle, it's going to get to 800, 900 degrees. That is called libun chazak, and that would be permitted to kosher the frying pan. Again, many people don't want to do that, so I'm not suggesting it either, okay?
Can you kosher a barbecue?
We'll talk about that. Remember to remind me about that at the in a little while, okay? We'll talk
How about Corningware pots or Pyrex?
Corningware Pyrex are considered glass, and we do not kosher them.
Thank you.
No, we do not kosher them. Dr. Larry, remind me about the about how to kosher a barbecue at the very end, okay?
Yes.
Again, tablecloths. What about towels? Kitchen towels. Kitchen towels, easy to kosher. Throw them into your washing machine, hot cycle, warm cycle, hot water, and you've koshered your You do not have to go out and buy new tablecloths. You do not have to go out and buy new special towel for Yom Tov. Electric mixers. Please, everybody make sure you're mute. Electric mixers, food processors, blenders, most of them cannot be kosher unless, because the base where the motor is usually will get chametz in, unless it's totally sealed. You'll know this by looking at it. If it's really, really totally sealed and no chametz can get into the motor area, clean it off, buy new separate bowls and blades, and you can use it for Pesach. But usually I tell most people the electric mixers, the food processors, the blenders, hard to kosher because they do get into the base, into the motor area chametz. But if not, you can use it. What about sinks? This is the way you do a sink. If the sink is made from porcelain, then you're going to have to buy an insert from, like a rack, and then an insert tub to be able to use it for Pesach. If it's made from stainless steel, as many have that type of sink, that's fine. That's easy to kosher. Don't use the sink for 24 hours. Okay, don't use the sink for 24 hours. Heat up with a tea kettle, boiling hot water, and pour over, including the faucet, including all of the parts of the sink, pour over the boiling water, and you will have a kosher sink. As soon as you finish this, pour cold water over it as well, and it's totally a kosher sink. You do not have to have inserts. Now, yes, Judy, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you going to be discussing about koshering a blech, or what you do for a blech?
Get a new blech, because you're going to have to use, either you're going to put it into into the self-clean oven, or you're going to have to get a new blech. Okay.
Thank you.
Rabbi, can I ask, it's Isabelle, back to the tablecloths. What if the tablecloth shouldn't be washed in hot water? Can you wash it in warm water, or you have to do something else?
I'm not following what you're saying.
Well, you say to put the tablecloth in hot water to wash it, but a lot of tablecloths are made out of whatever that you shouldn't really be putting it in such hot water.
Put it in a warm cycle, that'll be fine, because
Okay,
that's always used it.
Thank you.
Warm cycle will be fine. It'll be clean. It'll be clean. It'll be washed. They'll be fine. No problem. Vinyl tablecloths do not get kosher. A vinyl tablecloth, you'd have to get a new kosher. Somebody's asked me on the chats. I will look at the chats at the very end, but somebody asked me about the Nespresso. Nespresso supposedly has cups that are kosher LePesach all year long. If that is the case, I just read that this week. If that is the case, you don't have to do anything but wipe down your machine and keep it clean, unless you took some part of it and during the year took and cleaned it in a sink. But I don't think, I don't know. I don't have one of those machines, so I'm not sure. But okay.
Rabbi, what about a big hot water pot for Shabbos? One of the big hot water heaters.
So the hot water urns?
Yes.
So a hot water urn, if you've never washed it in the sink, in hot water, in chametz, it doesn't get, it's not dirty, and it's never been cleaned in hot water in your sink, in your chametz sticker sink, that should be fine. Just clean it off, and you have a kosher LePesach. But if it's been cleaned in your sink, or if you use a sponge, a chametz sticker sponge, then you'd have to get a new urn for Pesach. Okay? Okay, so that's the way you do a sink. Again, a porcelain one, you would have to get a tub. Let's talk about stovetops and ovens. Stovetops and ovens. Let's start with the stovetop. The stovetop, if it's the regular stovetops, gas or electric, but if it's a regular stovetop, it's very easy to kosher. Clean it well. The underpans where things drip onto, the catch pans, are going to clean them well. You're going to have to cover those with heavy duty foil, but you'll clean the top of the range After you've cleaned them, turn them onto a high flame, 15, 20 minutes open, full flame. You've koshered your top of your racks, your range. So you've koshered. Any surface that the flame doesn't touch, you're going to have to cover with heavy duty foil. So you have two ranges, two flames here, and in the middle on many of the ovens, there is a place to put down pots, cover it with heavy duty foil, cover all parts around the oven with heavy duty foil. But the burners themselves are now koshered by cleaning them and turning them on for 20 minutes. That's more than sufficient. You've koshered your top of your oven. Yes, Debbie. Unmute yourself. Unmute. Yes.
I think you can now unmute us. I think we switched you to host. So now you can unmute us, but that's fine. I just want to tell people I've done this before. Like I have 5 burners, some people have 4, some people have 6. Do a couple at a time. Sometimes you can burn too much around there. So I think we're allowed to do a 2 at a time or 1 at a time.
Do as many as you want, or as few as you want. You don't have to do them all at the same time.
Sometimes do 5 or 6. It's much heat.
Right.
Yeah.
Stoves. The stove itself, the oven itself. How do you kosher an oven? If you have self-cleaning, turn it on to a full cycle self-cleaning. Many people don't want to do this because I've been told, including my wife told me, that we have an expensive GE oven, but if you use the self-cleaning, for some reason, it can blow the whole oven. So many of them are not equipped. They build this, but they didn't build it well. So if you don't want to use your self-cleaning, but if you do use your self-cleaning, you can kosher it just by turning it on. You don't have to wait. You can kosher it. You don't have to clean anything. You can kosher it by turning on self-cleaning oven. When you're not using the self-cleaning oven, or your oven is not self-cleaning, you have to clean it. Use Easy Off. If you have a stubborn stain, 2 applications of Easy Off, and that's all you have to do. After 2 applications of Easy Off, we consider it no problem. Just turn it on to the highest heat they have. It could be 550, it can be broil, whatever the highest heat in your oven is for 1 hour. But before you do this, don't use the oven for 24 hours. 24 hours, don't use the oven. Have it cleaned with Easy Off at least maximum twice with Easy Off, and turn it on for 1 hour to its highest heat. You have koshered your oven. Again, you don't have to wait. If it's a self-clean, you can just turn on the self-clean. You don't have to wait the 24 hours. Yes, Marcia, unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a question. There are 2 types of self-cleaning cycles on my monogram oven. One is 3 hours and one is 5 hours. Can I use the 3 hours? Would that be sufficient?
Check if it says a hot, if it's the hot, clean, self-clean, yes.
Okay, hot self-clean. Okay.
Hot self-clean.
Rabbi, what about the grates in the racks in the oven? Because all the ovens manufacturers tell you not to self-clean the racks in the oven, that they change color and they discolor and then they're hard to pull in and out.
Right. So if you kosher them and you're not worried about the self-clean discoloring them, you have kosher racks. If not, you're going to have to cover those racks. Okay? Unless you're doing it as a non-self-clean. If you're turning it up to its highest,
500.
like to the 500, 550, that's fine. Keep them, turn them on, 500, 550, and it will kosher. Kibolo, kachpoto, that's how they got chametz stick. That's how they're going to get kosher lePesach. Okay?
Thank you.
No problem. Let's talk at warming drawers. A number of you have warming drawers. Warming drawers, don't use them for 24 hours. Clean them, and then get sterno cans. Put them, leave the warming drawer open a little so that you'll have air circulating so the combustion will be allowed. And take a sterno can that says that it should be ethanol or methanol sterno cans. Do not use, I don't know what this means, but they say do not use the wicked cans, WICKED cans that use diethynyl glycol as the fuel. Those cannot be used for koshering, but you can use the sterno cans, clean the drawer, don't use it for 24 hours, put in a sterno can for 2 hours, and you've koshered your warming drawer. That's how you kosher a warming drawer. Microwave. I personally don't recommend koshering a microwave, but many poskim say it is feasible to do. This, I will tell you how to do it if you really feel you need a microwave. A microwave, first of all, if you have a glass turntable, you're going to have to replace the glass turntable because remember, glass can't be koshered. Clean it. Do not use it for 24 hours. Get a glass bowl or a cup, a glass cup that you haven't used for chametz, a glass bowl, glass cup, and fill it up, put it in for 10 minutes, and let it cycle through that it totally boils out, and you've koshered, according to the poskim that say you can kosher a microwave, you've koshered your microwave. That's the way to do a microwave, okay? Dishwashers. Rav Hershel Schachter has said for this year, if you really feel you need a dishwasher because you don't have help at home and whatever the case may be, and you really feel you need it, he's permitting doing the following. Don't use the dishwasher for 24 hours before you do this. If the dishwasher is made with metal walls, metal, it would have to be stainless steel metal walls, then he says, even if the racks are coated with plastic, that's fine. Keep them inside. Again, don't use them for 24 hours and turn on the cycle for a full hot cycle without detergent. Make sure no hot water in your house is running anywhere else because that will reduce the heat of the water going into the dishwasher. Run the entire cycle and it's kosher. Proviso, Rav Schachter says in a tshuva that he just wrote to the Rabbana, he says proviso that you don't have a glass window to your dishwasher. If you have a glass window to your dishwasher, he says, then it can't be koshered because we don't kosher glass. So some dishwashers have this glass window where you can see in. If you have that, that becomes problematic. If you don't, and it's metal, and you don't use it for 24 hours, turn it on for a full cycle of hot water, and you've koshered your dishwasher. Refrigerators, clean them. That's all you got to do.
Ask you a question?
Yes,
Rabbi Muskin,
sure.
This is. Did you say that you can keep the same metal coated racks? You don't have to change the rack. I mean,
That's correct. They'll be inside. They'll be inside the while the cycle goes.
And you can use plastic coated racks.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, there are many poskim that. Now, Rav Hershel says, I would not poskin this way on a regular year, but he poskined that this is the way. I have the tshuva sitting right in front of me. I'm concerning koshering dishwashers, and he said that that would be permitted in the way I just described to you. I can read it to you. It says, if all the material of the walls of the dishwasher are metal, even though the metal may contain a certain percentage of porcelain, since the metal is the majority, we can kosher the dishwasher. To kosher a dishwasher, one must first wait 24 hours without using the dishwasher. Then you should run the empty dishwasher on a full cycle. The cleaning cycle should be run with just water, burning hot water, and no detergent. If you're using hot water in the house at the same time, turn it off so that all of the hot water is going into the dishwasher at a heat that is appropriate. And then he mentions what I told you about the glass. You can't kosher it if there is a glass window. Refrigerators, just empty them and clean them well. Clean the gaskets, clean the dishwasher. The refrigerator. You don't have to do anything more than clean down your dishwasher. You don't have to line the, keep on saying dishwasher, I apologize. You don't have to line the refrigerator shelves. Not necessary. Unless, and this would be very unusual, unless you put hot pots straight from boiling hot pots into your refrigerator. And I don't think anybody does that. You wait down for items to cool down before you put it into a refrigerator. So unless you're putting hot items into your refrigerator, just clean the shelves, clean the bins, clean it, and you have a kosher refrigerator. Countertops. Countertops. The following materials are fine for koshering: granite, marble, limestone, quartzite, soapstone, slate, onyx are all fine to kosher. Cambria, Caesar stone, Sile stone, O stone, Zodiac stone, they all can be koshered for Pesach. Porcelain cannot be koshered for Pesach. How do you kosher your top, if you have the granite, the marble, and all of these items, how do you kosher them? Don't use it for 24 hours. Don't put anything hot on your counters for 24 hours. You've cleaned them. Take a tea kettle, boil up hot water to the boiling point, and pour it over your countertops, pouring it all over the countertops, and you've koshered your tops, your countertops. That's how you, and then you do not have to cover them at all. Yes, Marcia.
I have a question. I have a Formica table. I mean, I could put a tablecloth over it for 8 days.
Yes,
but
we'll talk about tables in 2 seconds. Formica can't be koshered. Yeah,
Yeah.
Formica, we'll talk about tables in 2 seconds. But that's how you kosher your countertops. Okay? Yes, somebody asked before, and now I'm gonna look at the chats in 2 seconds. Somebody asked before about somebody asked me about not a microwave, not a regular microwave, but a microwave, a convection microwave oven. Some of you have convection microwave ovens. We treat them as a regular oven. The way I described to you how to kosher a regular oven is the way you would kosher a convention microwave oven. Somebody wanted to know before about a barbecue. You have a gas barbecue, it should be treated like an oven as well. Don't use for 24 hours. Clean it out with Easy Off. Clean it out. If there are any stains, twice. That's all you have to do. Make sure the lid, inside the lid, is cleaned as well. Turn it on to its highest flame for an hour with the lid closed, and you've koshered your barbecue. Okay? Let me see about the chats.
Rabbi, sorry, could
Yes.
you repeat that one more time about the barbecue? I was phased
Sure.
out.
So the barbecue, treat it like the gas barbecues that a lot of people have. So the gas barbecues, clean it well with Easy Off. Clean it twice, maximum twice that you have to clean it, and then turn it on with Easy Off twice, and then turn it on for 1 hour with the lid closed, and you'll have a kosher barbecue. Okay. It says, what about the racks in the non-self-cleaning oven? I think we dealt with that. Okay. Keep them inside the oven. Future do not use.
Rabbi Muskin?
Yes.
When we're just going back to the counters, you need to use the kettle or the pots that you're boiling the water need to be Pesach pots. So you have to do your oven, you have to do your burners first.
A regular tea kettle.
A regular tea kettle. It does not have to be a Pesach one.
A regular tea kettle that hasn't been used for 24 hours is fine.
Okay.
Okay? Is fine to be used.
Okay.
That Rabbi Muskin Rabbi says in his book that Caesar stones has most poskim disagree with Rabbi Eidlitz, and I'm telling you the answer that a lot of poskim say. So what I'm telling you is it's fine.
Can a regular electric tea kettle also be used if it hasn't been used for 24 hours?
Electrical tea kettle? You mean you'll boil up the hot water in it? Yeah, Should be fine.
Yeah.
Should be fine. Now, let's talk about one other thing I forgot to tell you about this, the sink. The faucets have to be kosher. You have to clean them and pour the water over the faucets, the boiling hot water over the faucets. So the CRC, Chicago Rabbinical Council, says when you pull that, if it's a, if you can extend with a coil the faucet, many of them can be pulled out and extend. First of all, clean it very well, and you're going to have to kosher that as well. It has to be cleaned. If you're having a problem cleaning it, do not pull it out over Pesach. That's what they say. Do not pull it out over Pesach, but you still can use it. If you can clean it and you can pour the boiling water over the coil, that will be fine as well. If you have instant hot in your sink and the tip comes off, remove it and pour boiling water over the tip. Some of them don't have the top of the tip of the faucet able to come off, but if yours is removable, take it off and kosher it with boiling hot water.
I just have a question regarding that.
Yes.
If it's a cold water filter, do you have to do it, or is it just the hot water filter that you have to do that with? Remove the tip.
In the sink?
Yeah.
In the sink, take it off both.
Both cold and hot.
They're in the sink. They're in the sink at all times. Let's talk about pot. Let's go back to pots for 2 seconds. Koshering your pot in hagola, in boiling hot water. Your tops, your lids have to be koshered as well. Now, what about the handles? If you have a handle that is screwed on, that has screws, unscrew the handles and put them in the boiling hot water as well. If they're not that type of pot that have screws, many pots just have these glued on. Make sure around the edge that it's all clean very well, and then you can kosher it by immersing it in the boiling hot water. Any other questions? Yes, Marcia.
I have a
You muted yourself.
since we can't toivel anything, we can buy a teapot if we don't have one for Pesach.
Okay, I'll tell you how to I will tell you how to deal with a new, if you're buying on Amazon and it comes to your house, this is what you do. You're right. The toiveling, the Tfilas Kalim mikveh is now closed. But this is what you would do. You would call 3 people on an internet or on the phone, and 2 of them do a conference call. 2 of them have to be kosher Edom, meaning not related to you or not related to each other. You can't call 2 brothers. You can't call 2 cousins, but 3 people, 2 of them kosher Edom. And on the phone or on the internet or on FaceTime, you say to them, I am being mafkir. I am making the item ownerless. I am not the owner. And they hear you. Then Rav Shechter says, take that item, maybe a pot or a frying pan or whatever you bought that would require Tfilas Kalim. By the way, what requires Tfilas Kalim? It has to be made from metal or glass. It has to be used in the preparation for food or in the eating process of food. So, for example, a can opener does not need to be toiveled, but a knife does need to be toiveled. Plastic doesn't need to be toiveled. Wood doesn't need to be toiveled. Metal and glass need to be toiveled. So you bought a new frying pan. You've declared it to 3 of us, and you've said, I am not owning this item. You put it out in front of your house or apartment or wherever you live for 15 minutes, demonstrating it's ownerless if you're mafkir it. And now you can bring it back into your house and use it until this coronavirus is over. When it's over and the mikveh is open again, you'll take it to the mikveh and you'll toivel it without a bracha. It is a kula, it is a leniency, but the halacha permits this. All of the kosher agencies are recommending this. Rav Hershel Shechter has written a psak halacha pertaining to this. That's, I would think, the best way to do it, because most of us are not even having our maids come to our house. I would tell you, you could gift it to the maid but most of us don't have maids now in our homes. So if you gifted it to her and she gave it back to you, then you would do the same thing. After the coronavirus is over, you would then take it and tovel it without a bracha. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Continue. Ask any questions you wish. There were some more.
Rabbi, hi, it's Amy.
Yeah.
Is there any direction on the Instant Pot pressure cooker? Can we just not use it? or is
Instant Pot cannot be koshered.
Okay,
Cannot be koshered for Pesach. Put it away for chametz.
Can you get a new inside and a new lid?
Get a whole new Instant Pot. From what
No,
I
not an instant. Oh, you have to get a whole new one. Okay.
yeah.
I was wondering if you could just get a new lid and a new pot, the metal pot.
No, you would have to get a whole new Instant Pot from what I
Okay, who cares? Putting it away.
Right,
Okay,
right.
thanks.
Right. Our mothers and our grandmothers did not have Instant Pots. Guess what? We didn't have an Instant Pot a year ago either. We still don't in the Muskin house. But anyhow, somebody asked about porcelain in China. Does it need toiveling? No. Porcelain and China does not need to be toiveled in the mikveh. That's why Rav Moshe Feinstein has a very famous tshuva that China does not need to be toiveled. Coated China does not need to be. So if you buy China, nice dishes, no, they do not need. If you buy glass dishes, yes, glassware does need. What else do you have? Advice how to kosher the pantry. I did. Let's go that over again. You just have to clean the pantry down. You do not have to do anything more to the pantry. Do we not use the counter for 24 hours before koshering it? Yes, the counters, your countertops do not use for 24 hours and then kosher them with the boiling hot water. Yes, a person asks, may a pot with plastic handles be koshered by putting it into boiling water? Yes, most poskim today say that those kind of plastic, that's not thin plastic, that's heavy-duty plastic. Handles are heavy-duty plastic, can be koshered by putting it into boiling water. Again, if they're screwed on, unscrew them and immerse the handles separately into the boiling water.
I have a question. What about aprons?
What about what?
Aprons that you cook with, aprons that you
Throw
wear
them
when-
into your washing machine and they're fine. Just clean them in a regular cycle. They're fine. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Regarding the hot pot, because I bought a new hot pot. There's no way you can kosher that because it's got a motor. And how do I just pour water?
Toiveling, you mean? Or koshering?
For Pesach, well, it's toiveling, yeah.
So toiveling, so you'll do what I told you.
With the 2 Adam. Yeah.
Right, do the 2 Adam and 3 people, and that'll be it. Afterwards, after the coronavirus, many poskim, and I tell people this as well, immerse it up until the electric unit itself. Immerse it up until the electric base itself. So you turn it over and immerse it that way. Okay?
Okay.
Bracha.
Thank you.
Yes, Debbie.
Want to go over, like, if you want to cover a counter without boiling water, how to do it?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
You want to cover if you want to cover a counter instead of using boiling water.
So it would have to be an item, it would have to be a material that you use that will not tear. So it would have to be either heavy duty plastic and you're willing to put items down. It have to be a double layer of tinfoil, whatever won't tear. As soon as it tears, you're going to have to put down another covering. Okay? Or use yes.
But
Yeah.
Rabbi, if it's a porcelain tile counter, I've always understood you have to cover it after cleaning.
Yes. Again, I said.
You said porcelain, you didn't have to cover it.
Porcelain, you can't kosher.
Right, but you have to cover it.
You're going to have to cover. I'm
You do have
sorry.
to cover it. I wanna
Wasn't clear
clarify
on
that.
that? Yes. If it's
So
you have a
clarify.
porcelain countertop, it cannot be koshered. If porcelain tiles for your countertop, it cannot be koshered. Nor if you have a porcelain sink, can it be koshered. So the porcelain sink, we talked about the tubs and the rack. You'll get a rack. You get a tub. I suggest, by the way, at the bottom of the tub, you puncture a hole so your water will drain. Okay. The tops, the countertops, if they're made from porcelain, just cover them with heavy duty, 2 layers of heavy duty tinfoil should do the trick. Any other questions? Don't be bashful to ask as many as you'd like.
Can I ask, I just want to be clear, I read Rav Herschel Schachter had the tshuva about using dishwashers, but I
Yes.
was under the impression that you still needed to have new racks, but you're saying you can use the plastic racks. I have a metal
Yes.
dishwasher, but
Yes, I have it in front of me. He doesn't say
it doesn't
anything.
mention the racks in it.
No, it doesn't. I have the tshuva right in front of me. He said no to us when we spoke to him. He didn't feel the racks are fine. The
Okay.
racks, they're going to be koshered the same way as everything else is going to be koshered.
But they're, even though they're plastic, it's okay, because the
Yeah,
racks.
because they're heavy duty plastic. So
Okay.
poskim are now saying that this heavy duty plastic, there are poskim, by the way, Nancy, there are poskim that say that you cannot kosher plastic at all. Rabbi Bleich is one of them. There are poskim that say you can't, but a pretty big consensus today feel that heavy duty plastic can be kosher. So it shouldn't be a problem.
Great, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? So everybody sees what they have to do in their kitchen. Yes? Okay. If you have any questions, feel free. I am here. Believe it or not, I'm going nowhere. So somebody said, are you certain you will be home at 1 o'clock for this year? I said, yes, I'll be home at 1 o'clock for this year. So I just wish everybody not so much anxiety. Take it slow. You'll do it. You'll make your Pesach a kosher one, and we'll all get beyond this and we'll be better for it. Yes, Marcia.
I have a question again regarding the formica table.
Yes. I forgot to tell you about the tables. Very good. Remind me about the tables. So tables, you clean down the tables, and then the minig is to cover the tables with 2 tablecloths. It's the minig. Cover your table with 2 tablecloths, meaning you're going to put down, you clean your table. You're not really koshering your table. So clean your table. Unless you have, if it's a glass table, it's not being koshered. If it's a formica table, it's not being koshered. If it's a wood table and it has no cracks in it, you technically could kosher it, just like you koshered your countertop. But most people are not koshering their tables. Clean it, put 1 tablecloth that's always going to be down. Then put the next tablecloth that you're eating. So you have a layer of 2 tablecloths while you're eating. So we have 1 tablecloth, and then you have 1 for milchiks and 1 for fleishiks on top of that. So when we're doing the milchiks, we'll put on top of the first tablecloth the milchik tablecloth. And when we're eating the fleishiks, we'll put on top the fleishik tablecloth. And that's the way you cover your tables. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. There's a question on the chat. Let me check it. Nope. All of these things we've dealt with. Okay. Anything further?
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
My honor and pleasure.
Very
Just-
helpful.
Somebody asked 1 second. Just want to confirm that we do not need to line pantry shelves with, correct. The pantry, let me review that again. Pantry, drawers, cabinets, clean, and that's all you need to do. You do not put any, why? Let's understand the reasoning. Not putting any hot items into the pantry. You're not taking a hot pot and putting it into your pantry. So you're not transferring anything chametz into the walls or the base of the pantry. So, or the shelves of the pantry. So it's not a problem. Just clean it. You do not have to line it. I know some women do like lining it. By all means, if you want to line it, be my guest, but you do not have to line it. You do not have to line drawers either. Can we use a plug-in blech by double wrapping it with foil? If I think I understand this, tell me if this is not what you mean, but there are these glass, we have the hot plates that we use during the year for Shabbos, right? the hot plates are quite often made out of glass. They cannot be koshered. That can't be koshered. Covering will not do the trick at all. So
If
no.
they're made out of metal?
If they're made out of metal, you would have to use it with torch. So not recommended, but you'd have to use a torch to clean it. Okay? And that's what I assumed that's, can you kosher an electric hot plate? That's what I just said. No, you cannot kosher.
If you have a piece of like sheet metal that you use for your blood,
A sheet metal, so you could put it inside a self-cleaning, you could put it in a blech in the self-cleaning oven, because that will get to libun chazak. It has to get to a heat of about 800
okay, so what I was,
degrees Fahrenheit.
okay, so let's say you take a metal blech, it's like a sheet metal blech, you
Mhm.
clean it well,
Uh-huh.
and then you put it in the oven when you turn on the broil in your oven. Can you do
No,
that?
it will not be sufficient. That would not be sufficient. You would need to put it into a self-clean oven.
And if you don't have a self-clean oven, you can't do that.
That's correct, because it will not get hot enough. It'll be only what we call libun kal, not libun chazak. It has to get
So
to
it would have to be blow torched?
yes, blowtorched, yeah, but I do not recommend that.
And you can't just cover it with heavy duty foil?
No, because heavy duty foil will not be sufficient because the heat, it's chametz and the heat will penetrate, if you will, through it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Spices that haven't been open to use for Pesach. Rav Willig this year said, no, spices do not need regular spices without any fillers, without any additives are fine for Pesach. I saw this in the name of Rav Willig. So just regular spices are fine. I don't know why I asked, but 1 second. There's a number of other new things.
Rabbi, does that include garlic powder, onion powder?
Double check with Rabbi Eidlitz's booklet. I don't know. Double check what he says, okay? So I missed, if you have a non-self-cleaning oven, what about the rack? I'm in the oven. So I'm telling you, the way Rav Aaron Cutler, Zichrono Livracha, Paskin, my grandfather Paskin this way, this is what I do in my house. If it's a non-self-cleaning oven, don't use it for 24 hours. Clean it with maximum 2 applications of Easy Off. Then, once you've done that, turn it on to its highest heat with the racks inside. You've koshered your oven. There are those who are machmir to cover the racks even after you've done what I've done, and then they poke holes in them, in the tin foil on the racks. I don't think you need to do that. If that's your custom, go right ahead and do it. But if you just did what I told you, don't use it for 24 hours. Clean it with 2 applications of Easy Off. Keep the racks inside. Turn it on for 1 hour to its highest heat. You have koshered your oven and your racks. You have to buy new spices that haven't been opened. So I answered that. Anything? Lowe's sells sheet metal in different sizes that can serve as a blech. Okay, that's good. Then you can use it as a blech. Yes. Anything else?
Yeah. I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Regarding the refrigerator. In the past, I might have put something that was kind of hot into the refrigerator if I was in a rush and I had to go somewhere.
Then you would have to, if you're worried about that, then cover that shelf with tin foil, punch holes into the tin foil so that you allow for circulation of the air in the refrigerator.
Okay.
Rabbi Muskin?
First, don't use them. 1 second, I'm going to take that. This is the question that's being asked. Non-self-cleaning oven first. Non-self-cleaning oven first. Don't use, then clean. No, it doesn't matter. You can clean and then don't use for 24 hours. Yes, Tina.
Is there ever a circumstance, for example, if you have access to a blowtorch that you don't have to cover your cooktop with foil?
your
The underneath part. Mm-hmm. The stove top.
Yeah, if you would totally, that would have to be, you would have to have the torch literally on that item so that when you remove the torch and you put a piece of paper down, the piece of paper would start on fire. So it's pretty hard. That's why I'm not recommending torching. It's a pretty hard process to do torching.
Okay.
It has to be there long enough that it turns red, you know, the metal turns a little red, and you'd put a piece of paper down on the metal and it would ignite from the heat.
Okay.
Pretty heavy duty.
Rabbi Muskin?
Yes.
On my refrigerator shelves, I think I probably have put a hot pot on them, but the shelves are glass. Do I still poke holes? I mean, the shelves are glass. So if you put tinfoil on them, what's there to circulate?
Your shelves in your refrigerator are glass?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be covered.
No, but I don't punch holes in them.
No, right.
It's a
But if
rack
they're
where you-
it doesn't matter if your refrigerator has total glass, you won't have to punch holes at all because circulation. They're not worried about the circulation. They must have a system that it circulates.
That's my question. Okay, thank you.
No problem. No problem.
Rabbi, all my refrigerators, all of them, all my refrigerators, I believe, have glass shelves.
A lot of them don't. Well, if they have, then just and you've never put anything on them except cold pots, cold things. Don't worry.
Fine. Okay, no problem. Okay. Warm, a little bit warm is okay, but you're talking about hot.
Yeah, so let us bow.
Got it.
You wouldn't be able to touch it with your hand without removing your hand from it. That's Yatzel lettuce bow, about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Any other issues? No more chats either. Okay. I think we got it all. Again, my number, 310-559-9443, 310-559-9443. Call me or email me. My email is rabbi.emuskin@gmail.com, rabbi.emuskin@gmail.com. I promise you, I will respond as soon as I can, which is pretty immediate. So just call me, and I'm not bothered one iota. That's why I'm here. Okay? Fair enough. Everybody should have first of all, a great week ahead. We got 10 days, 11 days before Pesach, so we still have time to get this all. Oh, one last thing that I do want to point out, and that is vacuum cleaners. You've cleaned your house with your vacuum cleaner. Throw out the bags from your, take the vacuum cleaner bag and throw it out before Yontif, okay? What about this? Somebody did ask. What about the garbage cans? The garbage cans in LA, I think the same thing's in Beverly Hills, but in LA proper, our garbage cans are not owned by us. They are owned by the city. So because they are owned by the city, what you do on Wednesday, Erev Pesach, is before the time for chametz is no longer allowed to be in our possession. I think it's 11:30, I think, but we'll get this out. Just roll out your cans to the curb. I know in Beverly Wood, they like waiting till Thursday, but you don't have to wait till Thursday. Every week, I can tell you from personal experience, my gardeners come on Wednesday and they pull them out. So nobody's going to bother you. Certainly not now. Pull your garbage cans out to the street. Even if there's chametz in them, you have been mafkir them. First of all, it's not yours. They're owned by the city, and that's sufficient. Rav Herschel said, if you do own the garbage cans and you want to get rid of the chametz, just throw bleach on the, cover it with bleach, so it becomes, it can't be eaten even ba'achilas kelev. So it's nifsal achilas kelev, and that should do it as well. Yes.
So there's no burning of chametz this year.
Okay, burning of chametz. How are we going to do burning of chametz? We're going to send out an email with all of these instructions as we get closer to Yontif. I didn't want to do it yet because I think people are just going to ignore it right now. But burning chametz, this is what we're going to do. Nobody should do a fire chametz, burning. A beer chametz this year should not be done with fire. Just like you would do if Erev Pesach was on Shabbos, you would, on Erev Pesach that falls out on Shabbos, you take the chametz that you have left over and you flush it down the toilet. The only chametz that you should have left over in your house on Erev Pesach next Wednesday is the 10 pieces of bread that you have accustomed to finding. And they're small little pieces of bread, and crumple them as much as possible and flush them down the toilet. That will be sufficient for biur chametz. The halacha says biur does not have to be by fire. It just has to be destroyed. So this year, we're recommending to everyone, nobody should do it by fire. Let's flush it down the toilet. Okay? There were some more questions that came. Okay. Yes, they want to know about the garbage cans. Can you take them back in after Shabbos? 100%. You can take them back in after Shabbos. Yes. Again, the reason I'm telling you this is because the cans, our garbage cans, unlike some locales, our garbage cans are not owned by us. You do that for a very simple reason that when your can, if it breaks, you call the city and they replace it. They own your garbage cans. You don't own your garbage cans.
Rabbi, what about burning the chametz in the fireplace?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just flush it down the toilet. It's the safest, most productive way to get rid of the chametz. I really don't. I don't want anybody to use fire. Okay.
Is that because you may not destroy it all?
What?
Is that because you may not destroy it all, or something else?
No, because I just think it's not safe, and safety comes first. And you're able to destroy the chametz via the toilet, so flush it down the toilet. Why something that might be dangerous? Yeah.
When you talk about the outdoor garbage, what about the garbage in your kitchen? The can.
What do you mean? Explain to me.
How thorough do you have to? You line your garbage can with a bag, but the rest of it, how?
Just clean it. Just clean it thoroughly. Clean it, and that'll be sufficient. And then you're just lining it with new liners. That's fine. Yeah. Yes. There's some more chats. 1 second. Let me double check. Okay. Garbage cans. Thank you. Okay. No problem. Okay. Everybody should have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah.
Cold tooth. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.